Well, I was talking about those videos of you guys taping yourselves. How many of those do you do for these type of movies?
So shooting reference for the
shooting
shots?
Reference, yeah.
I tend to do it on a shot-per-shot basis. Usually the acting performances, I'll do reference, and we each shoot each other's references. I know you do yours, right?
Oh yeah, I shoot reference for every shot.
What's the weirdest reference tape you've done?
Oh.
The weirdest.
Or
The most awkward one
yeah.
I did was for a previous film, For the Good Dinosaur. I had to animate Arlo climbing over a cliff, and I tried to climb over a half wall in our house, like as if I was a dinosaur.
I remember that.
Using just my head.
Did you construct the wall? Or?
No, I had a half wall, but Arlo has no arms. I mean, yeah, has no hands, so I was just trying to use my head to do it, and it was like, don't show this to anybody. Like, that was probably the weirdest.
What do you do with the reference tapes after you're finished or using them? Do you
Delete.
delete them?
Delete.
I can't
trash.
find them anywhere?
She deletes, I don't. I archive all of it, just because, you know, you do press stuff, but you also do teaching things, and they're good teachable moments to show your progression of your work.
What do you take away from these sort of reference tapes? How does that sort of influence the animation process?
Well, each shot is different, so personally when I look at the reference, I'm trying to gather ideas, but I'm also trying to gather attitudes and feelings that I try to do. It's kind of like acting, it's the same thing. We're just trying to perform the character and see what naturally comes so that we can infuse that into the character, because that's probably the hardest thing we do. You know, we work on a shot for weeks, and you want to make it feel like it's just natural and it happened, you know, really quick.
Sure.
And so, but you have to feel that moment throughout.
I was going to ask, what is the typical day like for an animator at Pixar? What is that sort of process?
A typical day, actually animating, we have our reviews with our director, we show our work, where we're at with our shot, we get our notes, go back to our desk and try to find a way to implement all those notes.
How much does a shot change from the initial design to sort of the finished product?
It depends. It depends on whether you hit out of the park first time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you spend 2 weeks really meticulously working on something, and then it's just not the right feeling or the right emotion or the wrong action, and that happens often. And then sometimes it's just hit it, and it's like, okay, it's great, and then you're just cleaning it up from there.
Yeah. You know, the sequence that we did together with Helen and Bob, you know, we showed that for the first time to Brad, and I think I got one of my biggest compliments I ever got in my career, where he was like, just pass me the popcorn, I'm ready to watch this movie.
Very sweet.
And which is like, okay,
Which
he
never
liked everything. He was really happy. He didn't really have, it was very little notes on it, so it was very, we got very lucky in that sense. But
that's when you resist jumping up and going, yes!
yeah, and you're just like, but it's hard because the animator side of you is like, there's no way it could be right, you know.
He's gonna hate this. He's gonna hate it.
Yeah, so you know, because you're always learning. Every shot you're learning constantly, and so Brad is this amazing teacher. So he's one of those things that you want to get ideas, you want to get his notes because you feel like you'll grow as an artist.
Oh, yeah.
So when you don't get notes, you're kind of like, you sure? Okay.
What changed the most from the initial design to sort of finished product on this movie?
Oh, jeez. I
don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I think being a second, it already had its beginnings. You know, we already had the first film to bounce off of. So the world of the design and everything, the mid-century modern feel, was already established on the first film. So I think, you know, they just grew and, you know, just based on that. And I think just evolving the characters was the biggest thing. Jack, and Helen were the main points of this film. So, you know, we wanted to evolve their characters further along. And I think, you know, Jack especially, who's I think is a scene stealer. You know, he totally is amazing, but he has all these powers, and it was great. And so I think what I've heard from fans is like, oh, I want more Jack. And they love Edna, right? So they love that moment. So they're going to get that in the DVD.
I was going to ask, is it helpful to have, you know, the pre-existing Incredibles for animation? Is it easier working that way with this sort of pre-existing material?
Yes, because you don't have to figure out who the characters are. You've got the design kind of figured out, the appeal, what their face should look like, and who they are, and so it's a nice jumping off point where you don't have to, you've got that much of the work finished for you, and now you can just take it further, which is fun.
Yeah, you're just evolving the characters, and it's great. Neither one of us worked on the first one,
no.
And it was one of my favorite films, you know, as I was animating at other studios, but it was one of those things where it's just like, wow, I can't believe I actually get to work on an Incredibles film with Brad Bird. And so, but it's great to look back at that as you're working because you want to make them feel like the same character.
Oh, yeah.